wouldn't mind unmuting yourself if you don't mind, and just while we wait for Joey, and share your testimony, background, who brought you, who gave you the opportunity, why you started wearing the patches, and how everything's going. I appreciate it.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Okay. Hey, my name is Paul Simmons. Hey guys, I see some of my guys are on tonight, which is good. Um, I was one of those guys that had nothing to do with another network marketing company. I had been in probably 10 over my career, never lost any money, always been successful, but never made it, never hit the home run. But I had pretty much gotten out of it. And a friend of mine sent me um, the website to go look at. He texted it to me and said, I'd like you to check this out. And I called him back and I said, is this an opportunity? And he said, well, it might be. And I said, well, let me tell you where I am opportunity wise in my life. Zero being no interest and 10 being maybe a little bit. I'm a -5. And he laughed and he said, well, Paul, would you just look at it? Let me know what you think of it. So I said, well, I'm actually in my office right now. I'll get on the line and I'll look at it. Well, I looked at the website for almost 4 hours. And I called him back and I said, Michael, let me make sure I understand this right. Number one, the patch has a United States patent on it. So it's not just another lotions, potions, and pills company. He said, that's right. I said, number two, it's got over 100 double-blind studies and peer review. He said, that's right. I said, so it's not anecdotal or placebo. I said, it looks like uh, it's relatively inexpensive to get in for what it does. He said, that's right. And I said, and also the company is not a startup company. It has been in business for 18 years. He said, that's right. I said, sign me up. Never looked at anything else. Got signed up, put the patch on, and one of the first things I noticed was bursitis in my little toe. Literally went away. Started sleeping better at night. Started dreaming at night. But probably one of the most significant testimonies I've had is from one of my personal friends. He used to own a gym in town, and I called him to tell him about it, which was the first day I enrolled. This is why you don't need to wait to enroll people. I called him and he said, Paul, are you in? I said, I'm in, Jerry. He said, well, put me in. Now, he had two doctors telling me he needed both knees replaced. So we got on the patches. He called me about 3 days later. Jerry could hardly walk. And he says, Paul, I'm walking pain free. And that was over 2 years ago. Needless to say, he's not had an operation or any knee replaced. We had coffee about 6 weeks ago, and he said, Paul, remember when I had my right shoulder replaced due to a skiing accident? I said, yeah. I said, remember I couldn't lift my left shoulder any higher, my arm any higher than my waist because of a rotator cuff injury? I said, I remember that. And you know what he's doing as he's talking to me about that? He's lifting his left arm above his head. And I said, Jerry, that doesn't hurt. He said, Paul, it doesn't hurt a bit. Now, that was probably in month 11 or 12 that happened. The patches are absolutely amazing. The one thing I've seen is the only reason they don't work is people don't stay on long enough and they're not hydrating themselves.